I'm going to give a lecture, not performance as somebody was thinking. It's going to be the lecture called Performing Body, and it's about art and performance, and about my own beginnings, and using lots of documentation material, some from the really vintage works, and some from the very young artists. And tomorrow, exclusively, I will give the performance for the Mondrian, for the Kandinsky Prize, and giving the prize to the young artist of Moscow, which we still don't know who it is. So, I will begin. How everything starts with me. Let me see, I don't like to have pieces of paper. I start very young. When I was 7, 8 years old, to the drawings and paintings. And when I was 12, I had my first show. And I was 14, I asked my father to go and with me and buy me the present, which would be the oil paintings, oil paint and oil canvas, because I wanted to do the big paintings. And I was thinking that's really to be a serious artist. But my father was, you know, a revolutionary. He was old partisan, so he didn't know anything about art. So he asked one of his ex-soldiers, who became actually abstract painter in the meantime, to come with me and give me my first lesson of art. And he went with me and to buy the different things. So we went to the shop and he buy like a paper and canvases and paint and colors and all the different things. And we came to my little room, which I had as a studio in my parents' house, to give me my first lesson. So the lesson went like this. See, he take the piece of canvas, he cut in regular, you know, way, he put on the floor. Then he take the one container of the glue, he just smashed the glue on the canvas. He takes some of cement and some plaster, and then yellow pigment, and then black pigment, and some blue pigment, and then he just kind of throw everything down. Then he take a little bit of gasoline, put all over this thing, take the match, and throw, and everything explode. And then he looked at me and said, sunset, and we left. So it was really strong expression if you think you're, you know, so young and the only thing your painting lesson was this kind of explosion on the floor. So very carefully I took this, I left to dry, and then took weeks and weeks. And then when it was dry, I put it carefully on the wall and went with my parents for vacation. And when I came back from vacation, the sun was hitting exactly that painting from the window. And when I came back, the entire sunset was just a pile of dirt on the floor. There was nothing left. And this was a very important lesson later on, because when I started working with the performance, I understood that for me, the process is more important than the result. And referring to Yves Klein later on, he said that my work, my paintings are just ashes of my art. It's really about that. Or Jackson Pollock, who actually said that he was making figurative drawings on the in the air, and only when these figures, you know, dripping came on the canvas, they become abstract. And it's interesting to think about how many artists think about different ways what art is. Malevich always said that I am the new step. And Joseph Beuys always talked about the artist as a shaman, as a really important function as being shaman. There is Mondrian, who always talked about like the new vision of art as one possibility, and so on and so on. So as many artists, as many ideas. And for me, it was really important to figure out what would be my function. And I see my function as a bridge. Because coming from ex-Yugoslavia, you know, my father and mother was from Montenegro, and I was born in Belgrade. It was always kind of geographically, Serbia is a bridge between Eastern world and Western world, between Eastern sense of time and Western sense of time. And as we are the bridge, that is so much of the kind of struggle. You know, there is lots of wind on the bridge and lots of contradiction. So that's why nobody understands much Slavic soul, you know, how much we can be violent, but how much we can be tender, how much we can love, how much we can hate in the same time, and so on and so on. And I think that the bridging different cultures and trying to learn from the Eastern culture as much as possible about concentration, spirituality, and seeing the, you know, Western culture about the speed and technology, there is a somehow balance between these two, and my work actually, I can say, reflect both of them. So, talking about performance now. For me, it's very important preparation of an artist to do the artwork. Doesn't matter if it's performance, or is it painting, or is it sculpture, or is it installation, or the video, or what, any form of art. It can be also the architecture, it can be, you know, the poetry. The most important is, as abram2 said, is a state of mind from which you are doing what you are doing. State of mind is very important. You know, there are many people made, you know, black squares on the white canvas, but the state of mind of Malevich doing that, it was different than others. That's why that meant something and others didn't. And how to get to this state of mind is very important. And in the Renaissance, there was this chronologist, Cennino Cennini, who wrote the kind of cookbook for an artist, like what you need, what kind of preparation you need in order to make a work of art. So for, let's say, Michelangelo or, you know, Leonardo, so the one of the suggestions for preparation was this one. 3 months before you start making your important artwork, you have to stop drinking wine, or vodka in your case. Then 3 months, then 2 months before you start making important work, you have to stop eating meat. 1 month before, you have to have no any kind of intercourse, sexual. And 3 weeks before you start making important work, your right hand, if you're right-handed, or left if you're left, you have to put in plaster and absolutely not move. And then the day you have to start the work, you can have the pen or the brush, and then you can make perfect circle, and you're ready. Your mind is ready. And in Eastern philosophy, they talk about something called chi energy. You know, you have to go to the top of the mountain, and in the top of the mountain, where is the really clear view, and your mind is free, you can actually perceive your ideas in the best way to create the original artwork. So very important is really not just inspiration, but a state of mind. And there's lots of preparation people have to make. And you see, performance is one of the most difficult forms of art. But if we will talk about hierarchy, I would say, if we can make a kind of imaginary, pyramid of hierarchy of art, I would definitely put on the top the music. Music is the highest form of art because it's so immaterial. There is nothing between you and the sound. It goes straight to your body, straight to your nervous system. There is no object, there is no materiality. Music is immaterial. This is the highest form of art. After the music, for me, is a performance, because it's dealing with the direct presence of the performer and the public, creating direct energy dialogue, like you and me right now, and it's nothing between us. And then every other form of art. This is my subjective thinking. But of course, many artists will not agree with this, but this is how I see. And you see, we have to establish, before we see all the material I have behind me, what is the performance itself. And why the performance is different than theater, and different than dance, and different than other form, of expression. You see, in the theater, you're playing somebody else. Emotions are different. You are pretending these emotions, even if you go into the character. And, the blood is not real, the knife is not real, the pain is not real. And the performance is different. Performance is not kind of black box that you are performing in front of the kind of dark public sitting there and watching you. The performance is the actually mental and physical construction you made in a space, in a specific space and specific time in the front of audience. And you step into this mental and physical construction. And then the performance starts. And then everything can happen. Anything can happen is become part of the work. You know, what is so important about performance is being there 100% with your mind and your body. And same for the public. They have to be 100% in the mind, in the body. And this is the most difficult part. Because I can perform, but in my mind I can be in Honolulu, whatever, you know, thinking of my next dinner. Or you can sit and look at me performing, but in your mind you can do text messages, or you have to, you know, you do something else and you make a little lists. So you're sitting there physically, but your mind is wandering, it's not there, it's not right here and now. So the performer have to create such a kind of image and such a kind of energy connection that actually you can't go anywhere else but being in the space here and now with the person who's talking to you or performing to you, and you're nowhere else in your mind, just here and now. This have to be achieved because the public is like can be like a dog. Public feel insecurity, public feel when you are not sure, public feel when you are not there, and they are not there also for you, and then all the tension falls down and performance is just a bad piece of art. So, performance never been really taken for serious in so many years, and it's always alternative form of art. And I'm doing now almost 40 years this performance, and it's still alternative. And maybe this is the same way why it's so vital, and why it's not, because it's not accepted as a real form of art, like, you know, before alternative form of art was video and photography, but not anymore. And now it's just the mainstream work. But now performance is still on this edge, because it's so demanding form of art, because you have to be there 100%, and you have to be not only there, but you have to, in order to see performance, you have to be present. It's not like a painting you have on the wall and 3 months later you can see it's still there. You have to experience. Experience being in the front of performer is the very important thing, because without this experience, everything else is not right. The video documentation, the photography, any kind of documentation, it's not a real thing. It's just documentation, it's not a real piece. I saw so many times great images of very bad performances, because image can isolate it and make beautiful something which is actually very bad. And I saw so many bad documentation of the great works. So you see, it's never really reliable. And I would like to actually talk also about the danger. You see, somehow we are always afraid of pain, and we are always afraid of danger and something unknown, and things like, you know, you're really not sure about things. It's very important to create the situation, staged painful situation, staged danger, which you're going in the front of the public, you're going through. And the public reflects on you like a mirror. So if you give them example, and you can go through difficult times, they can do in their own lives. So at the dangerous situation also the focus the performer, because if you do something wrong, you know, it can go very bad. So that kind of things are really important. And there's so many other things I will probably tell you in the course of lecture. So I would like now we put the light down, and we will start with some of examples of some works of mine, and then we'll go to this my collection of the other works I'd like to show you. So we are going now to the Rhythm Zero. Rhythm Zero work, I didn't have the video, so it's only slides for that piece, because there was no video in the time. This was early 70s. And it was the piece that I actually put 72 objects on the table, and I said, I'm an object, and you can do anything you want with me, including gun with one bullet. And if you want to kill me, you're allowed to kill me, because I'm taking all responsibility. I was very young and crazy when I done this piece in 74. And the 6 hours was a good time, because in 6 hours you can really have enough time that the public be liberated and they can do whatever they want. So as you see here, we can go on, please play. They are objects for pleasure, but also for torture and for pain. And the public make his own choice and show whatever they want, they use on me, they can choose. I'm standing in the front of them in the empty space for that 6 hours. And in the beginning it was very strange, because the public would take, some objects to play with me, and it was done in Naples. And everything they done to me, it was the 3 basic projections of Italian culture on the woman. Projection of the mother, projection of the virgin, and projection of the whore. And so in the beginning it was very much playing. Later on they would be more and more violent. There were people who cut my clothes and would give me a rose and took the pins and pin in my skin. They would cut me, I still had a scar here, and drink my blood under my throat. And one person took the gun and put the bullet. But then the galleries took it away, and then there was a fight, and then the bullet kind of fly out of the window. And I will, in the entire situation, do anything else except stand there and just look in front of me without any reaction, like a really puppet. If you put my hand up, I leave it. If you do whatever you do, I do what you want me. And then on the end, when after 6 hours, the gallery come and say, the performance is finished, I stopped moving. I was full of blood and I was really in a terrible state. And I started moving to the public. I become person again. And the public literally ran away from the space and leave me alone. And it was the first time I went to the hotel and I had a piece of gray hair it was just gray hair. And I was thinking, God, in your own performance, you can really reach the limits and you know how far you can go. But in this piece, it was not responsibility on me, it was public. And public can really kill you. Let's go to the next. I will just show, next, yeah. So I will show you, free the body, free the memory. No, let's go to the next. Or menu, just menu, sorry. Main menu. I will show you some other works which I done together with Ulay, which was my partner for 12 years. And we met in Amsterdam. We were both born the same day, and we met on our birthday, and turned to be one very long relationship of 12 years, and we separate us on walking Chinese wall, which I will tell you later. So it's the same way we put our hair together with the chopsticks when we met. And I have a communist star in my certificate, and he had a swastika in his, because he was born in Germany and I was born in Yugoslavia. And we made a piece called Communist Body, the Fascist Body, one time, just to talk about these opposites of our background. And we live in the car for about 5 years of our life. This was the cheapest way of doing performances, because we didn't need to pay electricity or telephone, and performance was hardly being paid or even considered to be paid. And we just live by milking the sheep and knitting pullovers and selling on the market. And this was really the most radical way without compromising anything. And it was one of my happiest periods in my life, I have to say. Sometimes we would be in the car completely frozen and we could not even open the door. There was no toilet in the car, it was just like a can. And sometimes we use the piece in the performance and the same car. We'll see later. Okay, so we go to the 76, 88, yeah. So I show you some of these performances from us. One will be interruption in this, let's say relation in the space. It will be one of the first one. We just, in the Venice Biennale in 76, we just ran towards each other for 1 hour and try to see how these two energies get together. And in this situation, he was stronger. Can you play? What happened? Always some mystery is around. It was the situation when we would just run towards each other and hit with our bodies frontally and repeat this hitting. And the idea was, it was very difficult working with another artist because it's all about ego, The artists have such a big ego. And by working with another artist, you have to put your ego down, and he has to put his ego down. And it's really about compromising these two. So how we can make this working between us and creating something what is not his own self and not my own self, but something called that self, something in between, the third quality, and to create the work which it will not say, this is my art, my work, my name. And you know, there's so much misunderstanding today because the artists become like huge celebrities. And this is and kind of icons, and I think it's pretty wrong, this whole attitude, because if you think in the past, the most important work of art being made by unknown artists. You look to the art, you don't look to the person. Person is not important, it's the work which have to function, and the work have to talk, and the work have to survive, because after all, you die, you're mortal, and you will stop existing, and that's very important truth that an artist has to know. Looks like it's not. What happened to this? Anybody can inform me?
Nothing.
If it doesn't go to the, can we change to the public, to the performing body? Did you find out? Okay. Which I like about technology. You never can relate on technology. So it's always plan B, C, D, and E. At least in my case. So. All right, so the first thing here, I would like to show you number one, number two. Let me show number two. Yeah. This is the video I made in China Walk, where I actually walk and met shaman when I was walking towards Ulai. Each of us walked 2,500 kilometers to say goodbye and finish our relationship. So in this case, I found the two shamans who will make the ritual by taking the poison snakes and turning around and putting repeatedly in the eyes and in the mouth. And I just took this video with not great camera, and that was the situation. The poison of the snake is not extracted. If they really bite him, he can die in less than 3 minutes. Now we go to number three. So number three is another work I want to show you. You see, let me show you now the head. Everything what you need to make performance using just head of an artist. So this head, this is my artist, my student, Iris Selke, who is now the artist in Germany, and he made her piece. Is a sound, please, and this piece is called The Mirror. So the next piece, can you wait, I'll just tell you, it's Vito Conci. It's very interesting historically because Vito Conci was the first artist, American, who actually said body art. He made the term the body art for the body art, saying the body is the place when things are going to happen, is a subject and object of the work, is my main material. And he didn't make much live performances, but he made a kind of called home movies, which performances took place in studio for the camera, and many times he will use just his own head and tell the story. And in those days, the performers from 70s, the artists come from different backgrounds. Some come from literature, and this is his case, and he is then using the words as a main material. Some come from dance, and we use the movement. So let me see this one, Vito Conci. The piece is called Cowboy in his early 70s. Yeah, play. So
I knew I would stay for a while.
Please translate.
I knew I would stay for a while because I had to save that town. So I stayed there, I took a position. Took a position at one end of the bar. One end of the bar, and I could see him. Could see him at the other end. Shoved a glass of whiskey down the bar. Shoved it into me. He thought that would start me to move. But now I wasn't going to draw first. I wouldn't draw first, I just circled. Circled around here, circled around the town. I had plenty of time. So I taunted him. Taunted the man in black. Taunted him with my back. I wasn't going to draw at him first. Now then there's the contest. Yes, I forgot about the contest. A coin thrown into the air, and I shot at the coin. Shot at the coin, hit it dead center. Hit it dead center in the air. He knew I wouldn't stop there. He knew I wouldn't stop as I just slowly walked around the town. I wasn't going to stop at shooting a coin. The showdown came in the rocks. The craggy rocks. I knew that sooner or later I'd get him. Sooner or later it would come to this. I had to keep shooting into the rocks, shooting into him. I saw him fall down the rocks into the river. She begged me to stay again, but she knew my kind. She knew my kind, so she just gently patted my hand. Gently patted my hand and watched me as I rode away. Rode away into the distance again, into the mountains, the desert. I knew what I would find there. I knew sooner or later someone would be faster than me, faster, quicker than me. Maybe a bullet just meant for me. Until that time I had to ride, keep riding. No, I wasn't running. I wasn't running from everyone. I wasn't running from anyone. Just rode tall, kept riding. Riding faster, chasing down. Yes, they're after me. After me this time, so I had to keep running. But I knew as the same kind they were. There was no difference. We were blood brothers, Indians chasing after me. There was no reason to try to outrun them. Because we're the same kind. It's wild, savage. I belonged in the mountains. Until the bullets straight into my head. Until then I would ride. Just keep on riding. I knew there was a reason. There was a reason to do it. I had to keep the town growing. I had to circle in the town, keep the town there, keep the town settled. I knew there was a reason for that town to grow. I knew that I had to ride away. I knew I couldn't stay inside that circle. I had to ride out of it. I couldn't stay inside that circle, ride around it, ride out of it, ride away.
So the next example, again, comes from the dance, not from the literature, but from the dance this time, is a case marker, is a Belgian group, and the performance is only made by the head of the dancer, and using music, the distortion of the music, with the distorted story to get this effect. So this is number 5, please. Play. And there's a very little bit of text in French, I will translate. In the beginning he was saying. In the beginning he was saying.
À quoi bon rêve?
What I have to dream about.
Donc on ne reste pas la question.
This was not a question.
Au début disait.
In the beginning he was saying.
Si tout se passe
everything's happening as we planned,
on ira loin, très loin.
we will go far, very far away.
Vestier disait,
At the beginning he was saying,
si j'étais à ta place,
if you're in my place,
je ne sais pas qui je choisis.
I will not know to who I will choose.
Et même disait,
And then the beginning was saying,
vous voulez que je vous dise
what you want me to say to you?
ce que je n'ose pas vous dire.
I am afraid to tell you.
WS
And
disait,
then in the beginning he was saying,
voulez-vous que je vous dise que vous êtes la seule pour moi?
you want me to tell you that you're only one for
Gigi
me.
disait, je sais que c'est impossible,
This is not
mais j'ai
possible.
toujours voulu qu'on s'en est dans le même pédestal.
And so on and so on.
NB disait, je sais que c'est impossible, mais j'ai toujours voulu ce que je pense que ce soit la réalité. NB disait, si tout se passe comme prévu, on partira ensemble pendant la nuit pour ne jamais retrouver. NB disait, maintenant tout ça est fini, Marion me chérit. NG disait, voulez que je t'amène mon sage. Jess disait, je sais que c'est impossible avec vous, mais j'ai toujours voulu dormir un peu plus. NB disait, si tout se passe comme prévu, revenez pour la s'il vous plaît. Et puis il disait, voulez que je vous dise que je suis un cadet, disait, non, 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 ça, je vous c'est maintenant, c'est maintenant, c'est maintenant.
So number 8 now, it's the very young Japanese artist, unpronounceable, it's so difficult name to pronounce. And he's only 21, and he